Hi, I'm Monica.
And I'm Nadella.
Welcome to our channel where we talk about all things entrepreneurship, being a business owner, how business integrates with life. So yes. All those things. So today's topic is that we want to let you in on our journey when we started with our short-term rental, our Airbnb business, and kind of dig a little deeper on that. And also because people do ask us this all the time, how do we pivot and how do we know how to transition into either like adding more Airbnbs, because I know people have asked us that a lot too, and or like how do we know like to totally do other businesses.
True. So
with Airbnb, I just remember we were so glad to kind of step back and go to the very first one. So the very first one, which we have said this in the past, so if you have been with us before, welcome back, and we're so glad you're here. And if you're new, we're super excited for you to be a part of our community. Yes. But our very first unit was an apartment that me and my husband stayed in, and then we were moving into a house, not right away, but getting ready to buy a house. So the remainder of that lease, we decided to transition that, use that as our Airbnb.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I just remember how excited we were when we got that first booking.
Yes.
I mean, I guess I can go back even a little bit before that, because we had been looking so we started our business not off of, because we didn't know we were going to do that. So we had been looking, but one of the things, and I know people ask us this when we started our business, about what money how did we get the funding, or what? So we bootstrapped.
Yes,
well, let me say that first of all. We bootstrapped. But when we were looking at places, I do have to say, I don't even know if we ever talked about this, but I do have to say, it did seem like a lot of money to get it started.
It was a lot,
yeah,
not a lot?
Not the business piece of it, but getting an apartment. Remember when we were looked at very first one, we were looking in that, if you're from Dallas or familiar with Dallas, then you probably know this area. If you're not, then I'm sorry, I'm just going to mention, we first were looking at an area by Greenville, so kind of like an entertainment area,
yeah.
I remember. And it just seemed it was a lot.
It was,
it was a great area. It was a super area, especially for someone who's coming into town and everything like that. But I'm just saying that to help you understand, we get it when you're starting off in the business, and then and using your own coins or borrowed coins or whatever coins you're using. It just seemed like you just want to hang on to every little bit that you can.
You do, because it's scary.
Yeah.
It was scary. It was nerve-wracking. Just even looking for stuff. We were ready though.
Yeah,
but it was still scary, and
And then I felt like sometimes people wanted to price gauge us. I think that first one, they wanted double the, which that's something that you have to. We talked about that a long time ago, about just the nuances of that particular business, of a short-term rental business, of you running a business out of somebody's place. So there were some different nuances as far as that part's concerned. But like Nadella said, it was kind of scary, because then you're
scary.
You're going to use all this money?
Yes, and you don't know if it's even going to work.
Right.
But luckily it did. Very successful. Doing Airbnb, taught us so much, just about business in general, about how to move and pivot and, go into other things. So once we started Airbnb, we had been doing it for, maybe 5 years or 4 years. And then we started Airbnb consulting.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we probably could have started that earlier. As you go through your business, then you look back and be like, dang, we could have actually did that earlier. We could have started our YouTube channel earlier. It's just a lot of woulda, couldas, shouldas. Mm-hmm. Just kind of going through the whole experience of, running an Airbnb, having staff, dealing with that customer service. I mean, we really did learn so much And a lot of it we kind of brought in just from our corporate lives,
Yes.
you know, because we had both been managers before, you know, both just on like the mortgage side and the banking side of like of the industry. So, you know, customer service, like we knew all of that, but just like some of the different nuances of just like running the business was like a lesson, especially like the accounting piece.
Yes. Because neither one of us really liked it kind of, and we learned early on, we haven't talked about that yet, but if you're interested in a video about like how we did used to get that question when we did our one-on-one sessions, but on how we split things up, like, and it's a very good question. And and we do have something that has just worked for us 8 years later. Yes. So if you're interested with that, comment below and then we can do a whole video on that. But back on the accounting, neither one of us really liked that piece of it.
No.
But like Adela said, it's something like, I mean, you're running a business, you got to know something. Yeah. Or do something about it, right?
Yeah. We definitely had to learn. I mean, well, Monica more so than me. Remember that lady that taught you a lot of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned from a lot of people in the beginning. So that was like really, really great. Then we started, like we said, the Airbnb consulting. And we did a course. We had some one-on-one clients. So we did that for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
And that was, we talked about this in our welcome or reintroduction, but that was really when we were able to see like, oh, this is not just about Airbnb, short-term rental.
Right.
This is about running a business. Like a lot of our session, once you got over how to use the Airbnb app, like what they, you know, what some of the fundamentals about like Airbnb specifically, or, you know, then a lot of the rest of the questions for the consultation is how to run a business.
Right.
Yeah.
The fundamentals of like, you know, how do I get my LLC? You know, what do I tell these apartments? Like, what about my bank statements? And, you know, all of that. So it was...
What about money? Like, how do I get, you know, if I have a little bit, how do I fund it? You know, if I don't have any, how do I fund it? You know, what about grants? And what about, you know, not specifics, but I'm saying these were questions that we would have in our sessions.
Yes. So we did that for a while. After that, we still did more consulting, but more from like a business operations standpoint for a trucking company. And we did it for another trucking company. It was like 2. Yeah. So we did it for 2 trucking companies, and now we're consulting for what's Miss landscaping. She does landscaping. It's not, but it's bigger than landscaping, though, right?
It's like, I say this example and then she does check me because she was like, now Monica, you know, we do more than just cut some yards and stuff. Yeah. But it's, you know, commercial, it's like highway. Like when you see those big machines, you know, along the highway, like her company like does that, like she caters to government contracts.
Yes. Yeah. And so, like, right now, she has, like, 2 or 3.
About 2 contracts.
2 contracts, yeah. And so, we're helping her, you know, progress through that. We also started a care home. Yes. So, we have a care home that we're actually getting ready to transition out of now to close, but it's extenuating circumstances for that, because otherwise we would still have our care home and still be doing everything else that we do as well. So we are actually transitioning out of the care home, and then so we're gonna start like just full-time consulting, you know, making our videos, you know, making our digital products, like centered around like AI and, you know, lifestyle, budget, starting a business, etc. So that's kind of the path that we're going down now. So it's been a wild ride for these 8 years. We've done a lot, learned a lot, you know, like we said in our last video, plenty of lessons. So we're excited to get back started with our YouTube videos and back into our consulting.
Yes. One of the things that Dondella had touched on is about the pivot. And so I did kind of want to revisit that. So this was even before that we expanded into different types of industry. Just knowing of where, going back to what she was talking about, knowing your numbers, like in accounting, which is like, you know, accounting underneath the accounting hierarchy, if you will, knowing your numbers. That's when we were able to see and understand of, okay, we're this much over profit margin, you know, now we can add another location. Because we got up to how many? The short-term rentals.
I mean, if you count individual listings, it was like 52, 55, because we did like some shared homes. But if you count like
interesting
individual, if you count individual places, it was like 12 or 14.
Okay, and then we had some that we did some work where we were project managing. Yes.
So we did project manage some.
Yeah, but that's how we knew, like, just all around your numbers. So that's why we say that we know that a lot of it goes back to back end and operation. Yeah. Because that's how we kind of looking at those numbers to say, okay, let's start another listing. Let's start another location. Let's branch off into like how we were running those project management ones for your other individuals. And then just knowing that we wanted to diversify our portfolio. Like, we do have long-term property too. So, yeah.
We still have our property in Shreveport, our rental property.
Yes. So just learning about knowing the back end information and knowing your numbers and just being able to make those decisions on how to diversify into those other businesses was key.
Right. Yes.
So we're excited about like teaching you all that.
Yes. Please, if you have questions, if there's anything that you want us to teach or that you want to know about, put it in the comment section. We've probably experienced it.
Yes.
In these
Good and bad.
Yes. And you know, we don't sugarcoat, you know, we keep it real. You know, we tell you everything that we've done, what we haven't done, how we failed, how we're incorporating AI now into this current business, you know, some of the products that we have. So we're excited about that, you know, just kind of getting back started and, you know, serving our community of, you know, people that are looking to start a business, or if you already have a business and you're wanting to level up, you know, we have products for that. Also, just anything that you could have or have a question about, we probably could find the answer.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then using automations and AI to save you time,
right,
and save you money and make money.
True.
Like, you know, so we could utilize that, teach you that, and, you know, like Dondella said, that so we can all level up. So we could be on that leveling up journey together.
Yes, for sure.
So we're so excited that you're here. We do want you to like, we want you to subscribe,
comment and share.
We want you to comment and share. We want you to follow us on our other social platforms, so our Instagram, you know.
Yes.
So we do want you to follow us there if you're on Instagram. And also we want you to, because we share a lot of deep dive information and good article information on our Substack. So we want you to join our Substack.
Yes, follow our Substack as well.
So you'll see the link in the bio for that.
Right.
So see you next time.
Bye, y'all.